Ty, I think you're first.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was Councilor Jackson or myself, but thank you.
Thank you. Council Waterman, you are first. I do not have any guests this evening, but thank you very much for your consideration.
You are welcome. So we have four, well, we'll begin appropriately here. So I would like to call the Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee this evening at 7:02. And we have four motions this evening. And we're going to have our Personnel Director, Owen Babot. Is Owen with us right now?
He's coming in now.
Thank you very much.
I believe I'm with you.
You are with us. Thank you very much, Owen. For those watching this evening in the city, Owen is the city's Personnel Director. And so we have two motions that Owen is connected with directly. And what I would like to do with my committee here tonight is I would like to introduce the first motion. And after we hopefully get a second, then I'm going to ask Owen to explain what the motion is all about and open it up for questions from the committee and also from the council. So the first motion is I entered from the docket of May 4th, 2021. I entertain a motion to approve the following proposed changes to the personnel rules and regulations for exempt employees. The MIS director position be budgeted for a 40-hour work week, and the two stipends, which are Article 9 stipends, be eliminated. In addition, the position should be added to Article 2, Section 2, stating that the individual must be available for duty 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, with an effective date of July 1, 2021 for the proposed changes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Owen, if you could share with us before we, and we can ask questions when you're done sharing. Would you please share with us why this motion has been brought down by you and through the city? Thank you.
Sure. First of all, good evening, everyone. Nice to see everybody. As you remember, last we met was about a year ago, and it was the same topic that we spoke about. And in essence, I know there was a lot of concern about stipends or adding stipends, particularly for the position. So I mentioned I would go back and revisit this whole thing. And so basically that's what I've done. That's why we're here today. So in essence, the proposal is pretty simple. It's to eliminate stipends for the MIS position and budget it as a 40-hour position versus a 35-hour position. And as we do have some 40-hour positions in the city, this is a cleaner way to do it. And to assure that the person is available 24/7 as is required under the stipends now, we would add that position to the article Article 2, Section 2 that requires that person to be available. So in essence, I was just revisiting as you were requested back about a year ago. And in essence, I think this is a cleaner way to do this. We eliminate all the stipends as the concerns were there. And the extra 5 hours is pretty close or equivalent to what the stipends would have equaled. So this in essence takes out the stipend question and the concerns. And the job description is what it is. The job has to be done as required, but is budgeted and paid for as a 40-hour position.
Thank you, Owen. I would open it up for any discussion or questions. Councilor Blair.
Owen, would this qualify for overtime over 40 hours?
No, it's an exempt position. He wouldn't be getting overtime. And we know
Okay.
the person puts in a lot of hours now anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was just curious, so. it's
No, it would
just-
just be, Peter, it would just be paid for the additional 5 hours, which is almost equivalent to the stipend.
Yeah, I understood that. I just didn't know if that triggered an overtime situation. Or compensatory time,
No. It was
comp
just-
time? Okay, fine, just a question.
That's
Thank
very
you.
good. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Hearing none, I think we can call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. The vote passes 3-0. So now we have one more motion that I would like to ask Owen to share with us in a second. Also from the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve moving the position of Personnel Assistant 2 to a grade 7 on the reclassification plan and personnel rules and regulations. A review of the Personnel Assistant 2 position has found that the obligations and functions have changed significantly over the past several years. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. I will open this up for Owen to share the reasoning behind moving this position to a grade 7. And also, Owen, if you could share with us some of the ways that the functions of this position have increased or even changed in the last couple of years.
Sure. So as you know, sometimes we revisit these positions and look at the job duties and see what how it's changed through time. Not just volume, but really the job duties itself and how we have to rewrite the job description, which is the case of this position. But what's odd about this whole thing is that I look at the listing of the classification plan, and if you noticed in under grade 6, there are 2 personnel assistant positions, personnel assistant and personnel assistant 2, both graded at grade 6. And I researched the job description. They are literally the same thing, except maybe for one line. So I tried to find some history on this as to why personnel assistant 2 is listed as a grade 6 on the classification plan. I really couldn't find anything, so I don't know why that's there. So what I do know is that the fact that the position has changed through the past few years, particularly through the Affordable Care Act requirements. We are required, one thing they don't talk about in the Affordable Care Act is that the employer is required to do a lot of reporting. You receive probably in February a 1095 form. That's what my office produces, which had never been done before Affordable Care Act. It takes a few months of work to do that. Like I want to say like a good 3-month period, December, January, February, to put all that together and get that out by the deadline that the IRS has required. This position does a lot of that work, which never even existed in the past. And on top of that, a month later, we have to submit to the IRS via electronic means a submittal of all that information by the end of March. If we make mistakes or if they feel there's reporting errors, they can fine us. And I'm happy to say through the work that we've been able to do, and particularly in this person who does a lot of this work in this position, knock on wood, we have not received any fines. And it's been a solid program. It's a lot of work. It's a whole new duty that we were all doing, particularly this position. But that's a big piece of this job that time of year. On top of that, there's a lot more civil service work for this position that we've incorporated into the department. This person, the personnel assistant 2 in this case, is the point person for that, interacting between civil service and the chiefs of the 2 departments in fire and police. So there's a lot more, they require a lot more work, of course. And this is an added duty to this person. On top of that, this person we've incorporated the last few bargaining sessions this year and about 3 years ago. We have this person involved keeping copious notes, which has helped us greatly do some research and solve some issues that we've had. So that person is always available to keep as a record keeper. So some of those things, particularly the ACA piece, which is big, that's a whole new job duty that's been added to the position. And looking at the job classification plan, seeing personnel assistant 2 in the same grade, I just don't know why that's there or how it happened, the history. But I do know that it's more appropriate to move the personnel assistant 2 position to a grade 7, leave the other position, position, I should say, in grade 6, and it's a cleaner, again, it's a cleaner and more appropriate place to place that position in a grade 7.
Are there any questions? Thank you. Councillor Conti.
So I have several questions. Owen, personnel assistant 2 will be superior to personnel assistant 1, correct?
That is correct, yeah.
But they work on an organizational chart horizontal to each other.
They would be under me directly. We only have one person in the position, but there's 2 positions. They exist, but there's only one person in the position. There's not 2 positions in that office that's filled, and I have no plans on filling that. So in essence, it's only one.
So who was doing the civil service work before it came into your office?
It's grown. So that's personnel assistant. Well, we'll call it the personnel assistant. She was doing it, but over the last few years, civil service requirements have grown. So that person has incorporated all that work.
And what is the pay scale for grade 6?
I do not have that in front of me. I am at home. I apologize.
May
So
I,
before it comes to the council, I'd like to see the full pay scale of grade 6 and grade 7. And
I can tell you the difference between the two. The person, and I had Jeremy run some numbers because he's budgeting. The increase in cost for the budget, for the full budget for the new year would be $2,800.
And that Affordable Care Act, 1099s are usually sent out by the Treasury Department, are they not?
1095s.
What's the difference between a 1095 and a
So
1099?
when you receive your 1095, you have let's call it a grid on it. And it shows you by month if you're fully covered. And it proves to the IRS that you are covered or you are offered coverage and you decline coverage, even though you were eligible. So that's one of the new things we have to go through. We have to add is keeping track. And remember now, we also do the school department as well. So we have those on the city side, we have those on the school side, and we have retirees on the active plan. So who will all encompass these 1095s.
I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm done.
I understand.
You started it.
Well, that brings the whole indirect cost thing up, and I don't want to go there.
Understood.
okay, moving right along.
You give
Councilor
Ty,
Delicio.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes, I see you. Jay, I see you. You're on.
Thank you, Ty. Owen, how are you? Good to see you as
Good to
always.
see you. Thanks.
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So we're reclassifying a position that already exists, but there's not going to be someone coming in to fill the 1. So you're going to
Right.
2, but
Right.
not the 1.
They both exist in the classification plan. I only have one person. I'm not adding another person to that position. That is just, it's separating the two. One really should be, the number 2 should be should be higher than the single one.
Yeah.
But there's no other people coming into the office.
So the person you have in there now is the 2, not the 1.
She would be the candidate, yes.
So we're creating a position essentially then.
Well, the position is already created. You have 2 positions that are already created.
Okay.
They're already in the classification plan. We have one of them budgeted. So we would just separate, instead of both being in grade 6, we'd have one in grade 6, one in grade 7.
All right. So, and I get that. It makes perfect sense. My question is the timing. Why are we doing it now? When the budget comes out next month, will there be a request to fund that line item in the budget for the 1?
There would be a request, and I've already presented my budget, and I've done it in such a way that within the salary section, it would not cost more.
So and again, it's just a couple moving pieces. So you'd be looking to fill the 2, not the 1.
Correct, because 2 would have obviously would have the more job responsibilities.
So this is a level set.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Councilor Blair.
Is there any possibility of eliminating that other job as far as the paperwork at this time, just to make a few people feel a little better?
I guess we could, we could keep it, it's not being filled. I'm telling you right now, it's not being filled.
I understand that, but you might not be there 2 days from now, like I might not be sitting here. So, right?
I mean, my suggestion is right now we would leave it, because it could be in the future that, well after I'm gone, that the person in the 2 leaves, somebody else comes in. So you want to bring them in at a lower pay scale, at a lower job responsibility, and don't fill the 2. So at least it leaves you the flexibility of having that option. I mean, I guess you could probably eliminate it eventually, but that's.
If you needed it, Owen, I think it could put it back in relatively easily. I don't know. I don't like the feeling of an empty position that could open up to another appointment. And no disrespect for you, Owen, whatsoever. It's just, my attitude is don't have a spot you can fill, at a whim. All right?
Understood.
Understood. Thank you.
Jay, go ahead again.
Thanks, Ty. No, and again, I just want to make sure that I was clear, because I understand what Council Blair is saying. You have someone doing essentially a 1 doing the work of the 2 right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So when the budget comes down next month, you'll have a funded line item request for the 2, not the 1.
Correct, yes.
However, what we're doing is separating the 2 from the 1. So in the event that as the city grows in size and population, the city grows as more students come in, more teachers come in, there's a need for more people, your office is going to continue to grow. This is putting the personnel department in a situation where within, maybe it's 2 days, maybe it's 2 years, maybe it's 2 decades, who knows? If the situation arises, you have this on the books.
It's there as an option to use in the future. Yeah.
But what we're hearing from you, and I just want to stress this again today, is you're not sending down a request through the budget to fund the 1, only the 2, which is all. Vice President Jackson, I'm just making sure that
I know.
I see it in my head, but just want to make sure, because, we are talking about potentially what could be conceived as adding another position. And I just want to make sure people understand where it's coming from. I deal with this sort of stuff in my day job, so I understand the reclassification process. I just want to make sure we were crystal clear on what we were saying, that you're sending down a request to fund the 2, not the 1, and you're getting the 2 paid for the work that they do.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Right. And it'd be as of July 1, correct?
Well, we could do it now. We could do it right before the budget. I have the funding, so I don't need a funding request.
Well, the motion read with an effective date of July 1 for the proposed changes.
I don't know. I know we had the change for the MIS at July 1. I didn't have a date for this one, but.
No, you are correct. I made a mistake just then. No, we don't have a date attached to this. No, we don't. Any other questions? Seeing none, I would presume we're ready to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I don't hear any opposition. The vote passes 3-0. Thank you, Owen, for coming on board with us tonight. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, everybody. Good to see you.
So we have 2 other motions. The next motion, we have one person who's coming back from the soccer field somewhere. Is Christina Rogers on the screen with us? She is. Great.
Mhm.
Oh, there you are. Hi, Christina. This is
Hi.
Ty. Raise my hand. And Christina is, I'm going to make a motion first, and then I'm going to ask Christina to introduce herself. I would entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Christina Rogers, 43 Pass Farm Road, to fill an expired term on the Board of Recreation Commissioners, term to expire 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Christina, welcome aboard. And would you like to, we have your address, so would you like to share with us a little bit about yourself and why this position is of great interest to you?
Absolutely. So I've lived in Attleboro about 15 years. My husband is a lifelong resident. We are both very involved with Attleboro youth sports across the board, with our children playing, as well as both of us coaching various sports. We're also very involved as participants in the activities that the Rec Department and the Rec Commission offers currently. And I feel that the commission has done an admirable job for the youth of this city and all citizens in the programs that they currently offer. And I'd like to ensure that those programs continue for years to come.
Well said. Is there anybody who would like to share anything? Councilor Blair, please.
Christine, just a quick comment. You're joining a pretty elite group up there that has done a great job for the city. And you're also replacing a lady that's well-deserved retirement. I hope that you understand the position that we have with the Rec Department. It's probably the greatest in the state, led by a great director. So
Yes.
your work's cut out for you, but it'll be an easy path to follow with the leadership that's there and the leadership that has left for a well-deserved retirement. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And I feel that it'll be very fulfilling for you in that position, because the youth of Attleboro is so important in today's world. Thank you for volunteering and for serving.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Thank you. Councilor DeSimone.
Thank you, Council Waterman. Christina, Kathleen DeSimone, I just want to say thank you for volunteering and serving on the Board of Recreation Commissioners. As Council Blair said, it's a really important organization serving the youth in Attleboro, and in some ways is more important now than ever. So you're joining at a good time. I wish you well, and I thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. Councilor Delizio.
Thank you, Ty. Christina, yeah, I don't want to belabor the point, but Ford does so much work behind the scenes that so many people don't realize. And I think your background as a parent, as a coach, will really pay dividends. So I'm glad to see that this position will be filled relatively quickly. So thank you for volunteering. And, you know, this year coming out of the pandemic, I think the Friends of Attleboro Rec, it's going to be more crucial and more critical to this city than it has been in years past, which says something. So thank you for volunteering.
Councilor Jackson.
Thank you, Council Waterman. Hi, Christina. Kate Jack,
Hi.
Ward 4 City Councilor. And yeah, thanks for volunteering, especially when you have children that are involved. And how do you find the time to get involved? But you're going to work with a great group of people. Leo Johnson, Dee, oh my gosh, unbelievable people. Like it's such a strong group, and they get things moving, and they're fast. And Dennis Walsh, Recreation Commissioner. I mean, he is just unbelievable. Recreation Commissioner. He's Recreation Director. He is unbelievable. So thank you so much for getting involved, especially, like I said, having a young family. My daughter and son-in-law just decided to volunteer and became soccer coaches. And I laughed when they said it. I'm like, you're a soccer coach? Well, you don't have time for that. You're teachers and you're going to school at night. I don't know when they find time, but thanks so much. We appreciate your volunteering.
Thank you.
Christina, I have to say, there's a lot of excitement here for your appointment.
I see that.
And I've lived in a few different communities, and I have never seen a community like Attleboro's Recreation Department. Frankly, not even close. So it astounds me every day. Is there anyone else before we hold vote? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There is no opposition, Christina. Thank you. It will go to the whole council next week. And then you will receive a letter of your and be invited down to the clerk's office to raise your right hand, and it's very quick, and get sworn in. So thank you for joining us. Have a good evening. We have one other item of business, and this is also from the docket of May 4th, 2021. I entertain a motion to transfer $300 from account 1124100-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1135100-511000 accounting, salary and wages to fund an accounting supervisor 1 position in June of 2021.
Second.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions regarding this? I should probably say this exempt position already exists in the classification plan as a grade 6. We don't have anybody in the accounting and auditing department who's in this position right now. Deb Gould is looking to find somebody among her own staff. She wants to stay in-house and select a person to slide into this position. And right now, we're only talking about between now and the end of the fiscal year. So it would be funding $300. Councilor Delicio, please.
Thank you, Council Wadman. So I've spoken with Deb Gould quite a few times on this topic as we're talking about the budget and everything else coming down the line. This is an important position for Deb in her office. I think it's a move which will allow for a better succession planning, allows for greater flexibility when assigning work and tasks and duties within that department. And it's one that, if you think about it too often we see the potential of a loss of institutional knowledge. And when you have an opportunity to really build and strengthen a department from within, that institutional knowledge is more and more critical. When you look at everything else that that office is doing, especially now with COVID and what was the CARES Act, which is now the Hopper Act, or the new name for it. I think now is the time to start to get this position fully staffed. And as you said, Ty, we're looking at $300 right now, and it will pay for itself in the years to come.
Thank you. Councilor Blair.
Over my tenure on city council, I have got to believe and enjoy Deb in that position up there. And I believe that any help we can give her is well-deserved. Will this promotion create a slot where she can get some extra help, Ty?
She's not looking to get extra help to replace whoever moves into this position, not at this time. No.
It doesn't open a slot?
Not to my knowledge. It may open a slot, but she's not looking to add anybody to her department.
Okay, thanks, Ty.
She's looking to transfer somebody from within into this position.
I understand that, but usually when you transfer somebody and promote them, that leaves a vacancy there that needs to be filled. But if Debbie thinks no, then she runs a great department. I'm not telling her how to run it, no way or how. She does a great job for us. She deserves extra help as far as I'm concerned if she's looking for it. I'm not questioning that. I was just questioning if it was going to open a slot for another appointment. Okay, I'm sure if Deb needs something, she's going to call us.
I would presume, yes. Is there anyone else? Please, Councilor Jackson.
Thank you, Council Waterman. I think what I can answer that question. Ms. Gould is upgrading that position. That's what the $300 is, to kind of like what we were just talking about with Owen. You know, position one, it's an upgrade. So it's an upgrade of $300 for whoever that person happens to be. That's my understanding. So it's not creating a new position. It's not leaving another position open. It's just upgrading the regular position to a 1 instead of a standard.
That's my understanding. Councilor Deluzio again.
Delicio, thank you. But it's an accounting supervisor 1 position. What it's going to do is allow this person to be able to take on and get trained and take on more responsibilities than what she would. It will leave open a spot. I believe that the plan is not to backfill it at this point. However, it's on the classification already. We're unlike what we were just talking about with the position in Owens, where we were reclassifying something. These positions are already there. This is just an opportunity for Deb to be able to have some succession planning. So in the event that someone in the office should retire in the upcoming years or decades, whenever, she has somebody who gives her the flexibility to be able to continue the functions of that office, which are vital to the city and the way the city operates.
And Councilor Blair.
Okay, thank you for your interpretation. I'm glad to see that because it is such an important department in the city right now. So thank you.
No, I don't see anybody else. We're ready for a vote. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Vote passes. And that concludes the business. Oh, well, hold on. I ask for, I make a motion to adjourn.
No, hold on. Wait.
I'm
Did you
waiting.
vote? Did you vote Christina Rogers? I didn't hear you do that.
Oh,
I thought we did, but let's do it again, Ty.
yeah, I
I
thought we,
didn't mark it down as passed.
okay. So do I need to reread the motion?
Yeah, to make it right, Ty.
All right, wait a minute. Okay. Backing up, I entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Christina Rogers, 43 Pass Farm Road, to fill an expired term on the Board of Recreation Commissioners, term to expire 2024. We have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Passes 3-0. And we still haven't finished the vote on the last motion. So let me reread that and we'll vote on that. I entertain a motion to transfer $300 from account 1124-1000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1135-1000-511000 accounting, salary and wages to fund an accounting supervisor 1 position in June of 2021. Second.
Second.
Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Vote passes 3-0. And I now would make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And that concludes the business of the Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee this evening. I'll call for the next committee meeting at the next appropriate time. Thank you.
And you are adjourned at 7:35.
Thank you.
Call the Public Safety Emergency Management Committee to order at 7:36 from, excuse me, from the docket of May 4th, 2021. I entertain a motion to approve expending of the firefighter safety equipment grant from the Department of Fire Services for $20,000 and approving any and approve expending any future grant amendments awarded to the Attleboro Fire Department.
Second,
Okay, this grant is part of a big grant from the state to different communities. I apologize. I went through, my desk must have been really fouled up at home because I don't have the backup. I only can remember reading it. This equipment is for fans, portable fans. Sounds like the battery operated portable fans and a charger. And if I remember, a special flashlight and a charger. And there's one other piece that I can't pull out. If anybody has the backup, maybe you can help me out. Kathleen.
Peter, I think it's a reciprocating saw. Did you say that?
Right, you got it. I didn't remember it. And I couldn't pull the backup. I was pulling it before I left. I got everything else with the seasoning, but I couldn't get the backup. Yeah, that's a heavy duty reciprocating saw that also battery operated. And they've come a long way with this battery operated equipment, and it's a lot easier than carrying a generator around with a cord attached to it. Do I have any other questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on. From the docket of May 14th, 2021. I entertain a motion to appropriate $36,446.63 from account 1000-35900, undesignated balance free cash general government, to account 12101-000-515075, police earned time for funds due to the retirement on March 27, 2021.
Second.
Second. Thank you. This is to go to Sergeant Richard Campion, 32 years of service, distinguished service on the police department. He served on the state drug force for a number of years as a detective. I know I'm getting old because this kid used to hang around with my son, and my son is 55 years old now. So I was very friendly with his mother and father, and Richard is a tribute to the Attleboro Police Department. He's done an outstanding job in that department, and I wish him well in his retirement, and hopefully as soon as this pandemic lifts a little and we can have it, Mr. Kobus and Mr. Delicio and myself, the Public Safety Committee, is going to try to get the retirees and new hires together to give them some recognition, hopefully this summer somewhere, because in the last year we haven't been able to do so. So I highly recommend the passage of this. It's money well earned, and it's going to a person that has well served the city of Attleboro. Mr. Delicio.
Thank you, Council Blair. Fitting tribute to a really good officer and a good public servant. So I wish the Sergeant well in his retirement. The other thing I do want to say is I just think that this is something we need to be keeping our eye on over the next several months. And, you know, I was reading, unexpected police retirements are up across the country right now with everything else that's going on. This isn't a statement on, you know, one side or the other. I have continued to support the Attleboro Police Department, but what I will say is this is much more about keeping our eye on this, because we could be seeing more and more of these surprise retirements as the months go on.
It's a tough atmosphere out there for a police officer today. I know Kyle has talked to you, he's talked to me. I'm sure he's talked to Todd and others that hiring police officers today is becoming harder and harder and harder. There's not many people out there looking to take that particular job. I, for one, think it's time that we eliminated civil service, and it would make it easier for our chief to hire. But that's a story for another day. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of May 4th, 2021. I entertain a motion to appropriate $14,391.73 from account 1000-359-000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 121-010-558207 police investigative supply to purchase software and associated computer equipment to process cell phones and digital evidence.
Second.
This is really instrumental when they make an arrest or a stop, that they can get into this program, get the necessary information in a flash. It's something that surrounding towns have. So I think it's important to public safety to keep our police department on the top edge of, I hate to say it, the computer world, because you know how I stand on that. But in this case, I think it's absolutely necessary. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to appropriate $50,000 from account 1-000-359-000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 12201-000-513000 fire overtime.
Second.
Second. My comments in this are relatively short. First of all, it was underfunded at the beginning of the year. I know we had some money in salaries that have been transferred over the years, you know, that we didn't have to approve because it's in that line item. But this will get us through to the end of the year with the overtime. And hopefully, Jay, when this comes down in the budget, that we fully, but hopefully the mayor fully funds it next year. So we're not in this position. It should be budgeted, not coming back to the end of the year to try to fill it. Because even as a police department, fire department, it's getting harder and harder to hire. We haven't been able to hire a paramedic. I've read the report, right, in the last 4 or 5 years. So hiring has become a problem in both those departments. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Jay.
Yeah, no, Pete, thanks for that. I do have a meeting coming up with the fire chief this week to discuss the budget. It's certainly something we want to make sure that, you know, we're properly staffed. If we're properly staffed, it dramatically cuts down the need for overtime.
Sure.
Kind of a simple economics equation there. But in this situation, I think the mayor was pretty upfront that it was underfunded when we did the budget last year. So there shouldn't be much of a surprise.
Okay, thanks, Jay. Just another comment. When Chief Churchill was on the stand up there as chief, if anybody was on the council back then, I questioned him constantly about adding personnel to do away with overtime, because it gets to be a catch-21. If you don't have enough personnel, the overtime goes high. So thank you. Call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I entertain a motion to appropriate.
No, you're done.
No, I'm not. I got one more there.
What's your other one?
I entertain a motion to approve the request that the police and fire disconnect from the city network and have additional network to prevent any public safety emergencies. This was assigned to my committee. Second, thank you, Jay. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. This was assigned to our committee, public safety, when it come down. It come in from, I think the three of us, Todd, James,
Yes.
and myself. I haven't been able to get a hold of the proper proper person that's supposed to be working on this. And we were assured probably a month ago that it was in the works by the administration, but I haven't heard anything of it. In my last counting with Bill Lennox, that nothing was going on. So I would like this to go ahead, and this will be referred to the administration for his action and his work on this. He's made it public to both the fire chief and the police chief that he's on board with this. So I'd like to see some action on it myself, and maybe a vote of this council and him going up to him officially will help it move on. Any questions from my committee? Yes, Todd.
I'm supportive of everything you said there, and I also think we need to move forward with this, and am concerned that we haven't seen any action. But at the same time, I don't know that we can vote on this. I don't know what us approving this would
This
do or
just
would mean.
says, Todd, this just gives notification to the administration that we're on board with this, and it's up to him to do something. We've done this in the past on other things. You send a vote of the council to the administration. He's going to do with it what he seems fit. But this is just putting it on record. Am I right, Mark? You're on mute, Mark.
Sorry, when it came in, it was referred to the administration, Peter.
It was referred to me and the administration.
Correct,
Correct.
correct.
So my committee feels that it should go forward. That's all I'm saying. And I'm trying to put this in writing, that this committee has looked into it and that we feel it should go forward. That's all I'm saying.
I think that's appropriate, Counselor. I think it's appropriate to send a vote of your committee and then a full vote of the council in support of investigating the request to separate the networks. I don't think there's any harm in that, and it just shows that the full council or whoever votes in favor of that motion is in favor of, and quite frankly, would support the financial implications of doing that. And there will be resource requirements.
Yeah.
And I would say, just because I say yes to doing it doesn't mean I'm going to say yes to financing it, depending on what that looks like, right? So
Right.
I would have that caveat today, and I would have that caveat when I vote it.
When the funding comes down, you got to look at it. I understand that. But evidently a promise was made at a meeting with Bill Lennox and the two chiefs that they were going to look into it, get a RSP on it, how much it was going to cost and what was involved. And I don't think anything's been done to this point. I may be wrong. I stand corrected. I'd be glad to stand corrected. But at this point, I'm not so sure anything's been done, and I'd like to put it on record that we're in favor of it. Does that seem appropriate, Mark?
I think that's right, Peter. I think that's the right thing. That's the right thing.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Yep.
Yes, Kate.
So the meeting that you just referred to, that this took place with the two chiefs
Yeah.
and Mr. Lennox, were you at the meeting and you heard
Yeah.
this?
No, I wasn't. I got a report
Okay,
from the
that's what I
two
wanted to
chiefs.
know.
No, I wasn't invited to the meeting,
Okay.
right? Mr. Cobus.
So that explained everything, and I'm fully supportive of this in moving forward. I do appreciate sort of understanding what it is exactly that we're saying by passing this and sending it forward. So yeah, I support moving forward with this.
Thank you. Jay?
Yeah, thank you. So last week I actually had the opportunity to catch up with Bill Lennox, and we had a really good open arms conversation. And again, I had the opportunity, because we had played phone tag for some time, to tell him straight to his face the reason that I introduced this, why I co-sponsored this, why I co-sponsored the piece in Mr. Conti's committee, was not to say that Bill's not doing what he needs to do. It's actually just the opposite. I think we all know how hard he works, how many hours he puts in. He's usually one of the first people there and the last people to leave. We need to make sure he has the tools he needs to run a city of this size with the needs that have come and really have changed and manifested since the onset of the pandemic. This is important to ensure that public safety isn't interrupted. Do the police and fire need their own? Probably not. You know, they don't need one for police, one for fire, but one for public safety in general, yes, where we have the redundancy. And it's just really important that we've at least started this conversation. And that's what's really, really important at this. Because I agree with President Cooper. We don't know what that funding is going to look like. We don't know what the funding options are going to be. But at least the conversation is happening. And that's important from a public safety perspective.
I just think we should get a report down how it's going, you know. So I think it's the way to go. And thank you, Mr. Cooper, for your comments. I feel much better you saying it's a proper way to go. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. I move to adjourn at 7:51.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Traffic and transportation is canceled for this evening. There is a Traffic Study Commission meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. So hopefully I'll have something to report next week, but we would ask for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
I'd like to call the Capital Improvement City Development Committee to order at 7:52. Sitting on this committee are Councilor Waterman and Councilor Dolan. I have two motions to bring before you this evening. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the expending of funds and any future grant amendments regarding the receipt of Mass Development TDI Challenge Grant in the amount of approximately $45,000.
Second.
Second.
So this is a grant for to encourage communities to identify internal policies or process improvements to advance business development and urban vibrancy goals. And there's no matching funds. It's a pure gift, and I look forward to seeing what the results of it are. Any questions?
No.
Love a pure gift.
Yep.
What was that? What was that, Kate?
I said, I love a pure gift.
Right, right. These are easy to approve. So, Councilor Blaze, you have a question?
No, just my comment, seeing Kate said it's a pure gift. There's no such thing in government as a pure gift. We're paying for it one way or the other. Thank you.
Okay, motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to authorize the following resolution for the mayor to enter into a tax incentive exemption, TIE agreement with 27-39 South Main Street LLC pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40V, Section 4BI, and Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5M. The Attleboro Municipal Council resolution authorizing the tax increment exemption agreement for 2739 South Main Street LLC. Whereas 27-39 South Main Street LLC, the owner of the building located at 27-39 South Main Street, parcel 31-48 in the city of Attleboro, is proposing to demolish the existing dilapidated structure and construct a new market rate multifamily residential building. The total investment at this location, including site acquisition, site preparation, environmental remediation, and rehabilitation and construction, will be approximately $10,909,000. And whereas 27-39 South Main Street LLC is seeking to become a certified project in accordance with the Massachusetts Housing Development Incentive Program, and is seeking a tax increment exemption agreement from the city of Attleboro in accordance with the Massachusetts Housing Development Incentive Program and Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40V. And whereas the city of Attleboro strongly supports increased economic development within its downtown, increasing the market rate housing inventory within the city, and expanding the consumer base for downtown businesses. And whereas the proposed project meets the location and eligibility requirements set forth in the Downtown Attleboro Housing Development Zone and Plan, and whereas the Economic Development Incentive Board has negotiated an agreement voting unanimously to approve a tax increment exemption agreement structure for 27-39 South Main Street LLC, and now recommends authorization of said agreement and vote by the Municipal Council of the City of Attleboro. Now therefore be it resolved that the Municipal Council of the City of Attleboro hereby A, ratifies and authorizes the mayor to execute a tax increment exemption agreement pursuant to the Massachusetts Housing Development Incentive Program between 2739 South Main Street LLC and the City of Attleboro to further the development of market rate residential housing on South Main Street in downtown Attleboro, and including the following parcels. It is one parcel, 31, map 31, lot 248. And B, authorizes the mayor or his designee to take such other and further actions as may be necessary or appropriate to carry out the purposes of this resolution.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Waterman. So, a little background. The Economic Development Incentive Board went 9 rounds on this. I think Mark will attest to that. To the disadvantage of our very capable assessor who had to come up with multiple scenarios. The reality is that construction costs in the fourth quarter alone rose 40% and have been rising steadily since, which is putting the developers into a bind in the short term on the front end of their project to get it constructed. And the state housing development incentive plan requires a city participation in addition to the state participation if the state's going to participate. State participation is not guaranteed because there's always so much in the bucket and the bucket drains every year and a new bucket comes out every year. This project is looking at 2025 to a start date, and they've got fabulous things accomplished already. They've completed the 21E, the soil examination to determine that the lot is free of any contamination. They've got plans to do the demolition, and they have excellent plans for a new building, of which one entire floor is handicap accessible at market rate apartments. So this brings a wonderful new development into the city, right smack downtown, to replace what is currently an eyesore. And I think my file on this is easily 3/4 of an inch thick. And there has to be at least 50 to 75 email transfers in my Outlook file. This was a big pull for the EDIB, much more difficult than the last one we did. And I'm very proud of the work that was done. That concludes my comments. Does anyone have any questions? Peter, Councilor Blair.
Richard, when you bring this out next week, you probably don't have the figures with you, but in dollars and cents, what is this entitlement worth?
Well, Councilor.
In what period of time?
Yep. Councilor, it's for a short period of time. It's less than 10 years.
Okay.
And the exact dollar is virtually unpredictable because of changing tax rates, changing assessments, and other factors. But it's estimated to be about $500,000.
$500,000 in non-tax, we don't get in taxes?
Correct. So it's deferred taxes to incentivize the developer to move forward.
To the extent of roughly $500,000?
Right.
Okay. That's what I wanted to hear, Richard. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
Councilor Jackson. You're muted.
This is the old Briggs Hotel, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going in near where they just built south and north. Bergen Alley did, and he sold those buildings, and those are all apartments as well, correct?
It's in between Christopher Heights and the Senior Center.
Yes, so they're all near each other. Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to know. It's a lot of apartments.
Well, as you may be aware, the governor's environmental bill that he passed about 2 months ago incentivizes multifamily development in a half-a-mile radius of the train station. In fact, it allows for it without any permits required. And so it's granted by right due to the governor's ordinance. And that is to incentivize cities and towns to populate the areas in walking distance to bus terminals and train stations and other transit centers.
Oh, I understand that. I remember Mayor Dumas. He's the one who initially introduced all this to us years ago, as you recall, I'm sure.
Councilor Waterman.
Thank you. I've been wondering, maybe you could help me understand the parking situation that they will need. There's a small parking lot that hasn't been fixed in a while, I don't think, behind that building. Is that sufficient for what they will need?
No, they're adding parking underneath the building.
Underneath, okay.
Yes. So the very bottom floor is all parking. The first floor will be about level with the street level so that the handicap apartments will be able to freely access the grade. And then there will be 3 floors of market rate housing above that.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Councilor Dolan.
It'll, as much as I have memories, from when I was little in that building, with the fishnet and everything that was there, it'll be nice not to see that sitting there empty and deteriorating year after year after year and nothing being done with it. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, that's called deferred maintenance.
Yeah.
Councilor
A little
Cooper.
bit.
So I don't know if I would call it deferred maintenance, but it wasn't for a lack of interest in someone obtaining that building.
Oh yeah,
For the last 20 years.
oh, absolutely. I understand that, but it'll be nice to see something instead of just a vacant building just sitting there rotting. So I know there were issues with selling it and such, but it'll be nice to see something vibrant go in there.
Richard,
Councilor Blair.
how you doing? Thanks, Richard. As we look forward to downtown rehabilitation and revitalization, people that go to these apartments and use these apartments, they're walking patrons for downtown businesses. So I know there's a lot of apartments there, but out of those apartments, there's got to be a lot of people. I'm not saying all of them, but there's got to be a lot of people that use downtown stores, restaurants, and whatnot. So if we're looking to rebuild downtown, apartments are a necessity. And
Peter, I do know that Renaissance Station South has 0% vacancy,
yeah,
completely full.
it took a year or so, but it filled, and I'm confident that those apartments that are going up in Renaissance 2 and this particular building will add to the people downtown, and maybe some new commercial investments downtown. But we've been talking about revitalizing downtown since, God, I can't remember when. So I think it's a future, and it's the way it's got to happen. If people are there, they'll use the facilities downtown.
I'm glad you brought that up, Councilor Blair, because the tax incentive exemption has been used by a few Massachusetts cities to great success, number one being Quincy.
Yeah.
Quincy has redeveloped its entire downtown on tax incentive exemptions, and it's made a world of difference to the city of Quincy.
Yeah, in 10 years, I congratulate you, because some of the past ones been a lot longer than that, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So 10 years and it'd be fully on the tax rolls is fantastic. And thank you for your work on that committee.
Thank you. We all worked at it. It
Yeah.
was a level pull. Any other questions?
No.
Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. That completes the business that I have to bring before you this evening. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Second.
Oh,
Aye.
second. Thank you, Dolan. Thank you,
Second.
Council Dolan. I say aye, so I declare the capital improvement city development adjourned at 8:05. Thank you.
I'd like to call the Public Works Committee to order at 8:05. I have several items to discuss with all of you this evening. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the request of National Grid and Verizon to relocate a pole on the east edge of 831 West Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Sorry.
Councilor DeSimone. This request did not require a public hearing, and we had nobody to speak against it. Are there any questions or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you ever so much. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to transfer $4,000 from account 11241-000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1420100-521010 Public Works Heating to pay the heating bills for remainder of fiscal year 2021.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Dolan. So this motion and the next motion, we do tend to do this every single year for the Public Works, for their lighting and their heats and power. But I had spoken to Superintendent Tyler, and he had told me that in speaking with budget and admin, Jeremy, that they are going to just add this into their budget for next year, so they don't have to keep asking for the transfer every year. Any comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to transfer $4,000 from account 11241-000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 14201-000-521020 Public Works Lights and Power to pay the electric bills for the remainder year of fiscal year 2021.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Dolan. Same as above. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to appropriate $27,426.30 from account 1000-359-000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 1601000-585021 Capron Park Zoo security system for the installation of an early warning fence alarm system for zoo security purposes.
Second, just a little friendly. I think you missed a 6 on that last account number.
Oh, come on. I'm really good with my numbers.
I'm sorry. I think you did.
1660100-585021. Got it? Perfect.
Second.
Thank you for my correction. Thank you, Councilor Dolan. So I actually went and met, and I'm so glad I went on Wednesday morning last week after our meeting and met with Superintendent Corsi and a couple of members of the zoo. And so they're fenced. So we're looking, so if you can picture, do you know where the femur display is? Is that, no, lemur, excuse me, lemur, not femur. Lemur display is out on the pond where I used to ice skate when I was a kid.
Me too.
And, it abuts, yeah, and it abuts the forest back there. So that fence all behind there, it's not well protected. And they need to stay up with their standards with, so they can keep their accreditation. So this alarm system would allow them, so they would put something into the fence so that even if someone shook the fence or, tried to climb underneath the fence, the alarm would go off and it would go off to somebody. Right now, their alarm system only lets them know if somebody enters the building. So if they hop the fence right now and they get into the lemurs, And that's what happened in June, that someone actually got over the fence, got into a boat, got over to the island, but the lemurs, of course, aren't gonna let them near them at all anyways, because they're gonna scatter. But they were able to get that far without anybody even know that someone had broken into the zoo. So this would alarm them right away if someone has broken in and if any harm is gonna come to the animals. That's what this funding is for. Are there any, please, Councilor Cooper, President Cooper, excuse me.
Somebody swam in that water.
Someone took the boat,
They took the boat from the edge and paddled over.
and paddled over and got onto the Lemur Island.
Oh,
Yeah, they did, without anybody knowing.
except the lemurs.
Yeah, they knew because they scattered, because they're not gonna, like, they weren't afraid of the lemurs. Like, the lemurs aren't gonna go anywhere near any people. And if they do, they have those big claws. Yeah. Surprise! Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to appropriate $18,036.70 from account 1-000-359-000 undesignated fund free general government to account 1-6601-000-582-513 Cape and Park Zoo building improvements to replace 2 safety gates in the Bear Lion building.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Dolan. So has anybody ever been in the building behind where the animals are, where the cages are? Okay. How intimidating is that? So I went again last Wednesday morning, and I'm so happy. It was a beautiful day. So they, Derek says, come on, we're just going to go in. I'm going to show you like what the gates, what's going on, the rust and what's happening. And he took me in, with a couple of other people. And as soon as you walk in, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a bear in here. And a bear can put his claw out there, like really through the screen. I'm like, hey, wait, I'm a little bit intimidated by all this. But so this particular gate is the one. So when they bring the lions and the bears inside into their pen area, then they have a gate area that it's all corded off and stuff. But then there's an additional gate to protect not only the animals, but to also protect the people that are walking in, because they're coming around a corner and there's a big gate that's there and they don't know, like suppose the animals have gotten out, the bear has gotten out, the lion's gotten out, and they can actually reach behind into this gate, because it's very old and it's rusted. And the opening is like this wide, like they could just put a whole claw in. You're coming around a corner and they're like, hey, hello, good morning. And they've got your whole entire body and you're done. So this is a very old gate that needs to be updated, be in compliance. And this is what the request is for, but it is intimidating to go back behind the scenes. For me it was anyways, because a bear and a lion, it's like, ooh, wow.
Oh, my.
Oh my, yeah. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to transfer $9,000 from account 1650100-511000 Park and Forestry salary and wages to the following: $6,000 to account 1650100-546010 Park Forestry Supply Grounds, $1,000 to account 1650100-5483030 Park and Forestry Supply Vehicles, and $2,000 to account 1650100-548040 Park and Forestry Supplies Equipment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Dolan. So this is cleaning up a little bit. So they had extra salaries. Of course, so many people are having a hard time hiring. We had money in their salaries accounts. They do need to do obviously some ground supplies. They need to do some fixtures to some vehicles. So this is what these transfers transfers are for. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the expenditure of a grant from the Massachusetts Association of Health Board in the approximate amount of $16,666.66, as well as any further grant amendments. The grant to the Health Department is for COVID-19 testing, prevention, and mitigation.
Second.
Thank you. So that's a lot of sixes. That was kind of creepy. And we're very lucky to receive another grant to help us with our COVID-19 testing. And as you probably all are aware that in the newspaper today, we are going to begin testing at the La Salette Shrine. And speaking with Horseman, she was saying that they have received an enormous amount of volunteers who can actually give the vaccinators who have just come out and said, we're going to help you. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to give as many as what we thought we were going to be able to give. And it's a lesser amount, but fortunately, because of that, we are not going to need that much of paying for details. So, it's a win-win situation. So I hope you will all support this with me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the docket of April 20th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the request of National Grid and Verizon to install stub poles and wires across from pole 8992 at the intersection of West Street and Rocklawn Avenue.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Dolan. We did have a public hearing back on the 20th of April, and we didn't have anybody speak against. We did have just the gentleman from from National Grid speak. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. From the docket of April 20th, 2021, I obtain a motion to approve the request of National Grid to install a new pole 1592-50 on West Street, 45 feet west of pole 1592.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Dolan. Again, we did not have anybody speak against this. We only had the gentleman from National Grid on the air, and that was it. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Lastly, I do have an appropriation for the Reed Street sidewalks. And I did mention to you a couple weeks ago that I would like to have the mayor come and speak before us, because I know he's really gung-ho about getting Reed Street sidewalks done. So he will be attending our meeting on May 11th, because that's the same night that he's going to also be giving us the budget. So he's going to attend the Public Works Committee meeting right after he gives us the budget. And so if you have any questions for him at that time, because that's a lot of sidewalk, please be prepared. Thanks. And with that, I would ask for an adjournment.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I would ask for an adjournment at 8:19. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're muted.
All right, thank you. So I'd like to call budget and appropriations order at 8:19. I'd ask Vice Chair Kobus to take notes if he doesn't mind the minutes. So from the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the transfer of $1,680 from account 112410000-578-300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to the following: $1,200 to account 11461-000-530820 collector recordings, $480 to account 11461-000-534110 collector advertising services.
Second.
Thank you, Todd. On July 1st, the collector's office budget was approved for $16,500 for recordings. This account was used to pay for recording new tax title accounts at the Registry of Deeds, advertising services, and this account is used to pay for advertising new tax title accounts in the Sun Chronicle. prior to tax title. So as of today, the balance remaining is $545 and in the advertising services. And the reason for the shortage is due to 6 accounts that the treasurer's office has turned over to Zyda to disclaim due to errors on the title. So in order to proceed with these disclaimers and retake them, the estimate is that the shortfall will be about $1,200 in recordings and an estimate of $480 in advertising. So that is just to bring the collector whole. Any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And I would call for an adjournment at 8:21.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We adjourned at 8:21. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to call the Zoning and Land Use Committee to order at 8:21. Counselor Delicio, do you mind taking notes?
Not at all.
All right. From the docket of March 16th, 2021, I entertain a motion to approve the partial discontinuance. I entertain a motion to approve the partial discontinue Rathburn Willard Drive as a public way, length of approximately 530 feet, and approve said discontinuance as shown on the street discontinuance plan entitled Street Discontinuance and Easement Plan of Land dated January 15, 2021, prepared by Daniel F. Fleming, PLS of Semiotes Consultants, Inc., Form H, application for street discontinuance from the City of Attleboro regarding land at 100 Rathburn Willard Drive, including Assessor's Plat 114, lots 14, 19, 30, and 37.
Second.
Motion's in order. So we had the public hearing for this, I think it was 3 weeks ago. And we had the public hearing on April 6th. And at that point, Attorney Jacoby came in and explained how we wanted to discontinue these portions of Rathburn Willard Drive so that we could give them to the residents so that they would maintain the property and mow the lawn there and whatnot. We received today the ruling from the planning board. So it was a joint public hearing. The ruling from the planning board states this is to certify that at the planning board meeting held on Monday, April 26, 2021, the planning board voted in the affirmative, 7 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 absent, to recommend that the municipal council approve the petition to discontinue a portion of Rathburn Willard Drive, parcel A1, etc., as shown on the plan entitled Street Discontinuance Easement Plan of Land prepared by Daniel F. Fleming, PLS of Semiotes Consultants, Inc., 20 A Street, Framingham, Massachusetts. So planning board voted unanimously in favor of this. I encourage the committee to also support it. And that concludes my comments. Does anybody else have comments on this one? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. So that concludes the business, but I would like to say something. Next week, we'll have the continued public hearing for the street acceptance for Grace Lane as a public way and for Simpson Avenue as a public way. I encourage, if people are opposed to that or supportive of it, to show up next week for the public hearing. And that concludes everything. Any other comments from the committee? Anything? All right, move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned at 8:24.
Licenses Committee has no business this evening, but I'd like to just say one thing if I could. 97 Emery Street, I just wanted to give them a little shout out because it started to get a little messy over there, and I stopped by, and literally the next day, everything was exactly what I asked him to do. So I'm sure they're not watching, but I just wanted to give them a little shout out for their cooperation. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call the City Property and Claims to order at 8:25. My committee members are myself, Councilor Blair, and Councilor Holmes. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 motions this evening. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to declare surplus and available for disposition the following police vehicle. It's a 2013 Ford Explorer. The VIN number is 1FM5K8AR0DGC63528. Has 146,291 miles. It's in poor condition.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any concerns or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Pete?
Aye.
That motion passes. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to declare the following collector's office equipment as surplus and available for disposition. It's one NCR payment processor, and it is obsolete.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any concerns, questions? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes. From the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to declare the following wastewater office equipment as surplus and available for disposition. There are 3 typewriters. They're all inoperable. It's a Royal Linton Electric, a Diablo 1640 Electric, and an IBM Correcting Selecting number 3, all typewriters.
Second.
Thank you. Again, they're all inoperable. I have a Cybran Thermaline 1500 furnace. It's also inoperable. The model number is FD1520M, serial number 266/4635.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still reading. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
I'm sorry.
my fault.
No, it isn't.
A Barnstead NanoPure Diamond, which is a water purifier. It's also inoperable. Model number D11901, serial number 1367070131203. And a Precision Scientific Incubator, serial number 9504/201. It is inoperable. And last, an LC drying oven, which is also inoperable.
Second.
Thank you. All of these are inoperable, so I think it's pretty self-explanatory. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes. And from the docket of May 4th, 2021, I entertain a motion to accept the donation from Richard Cathcart of National Fence for 120 feet of 48-inch high black vinyl chain link fence with 8-foot wide double swing gate, which is valued at $7,000.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. I think that's a really great donation, and obviously we should take care and take it. Go ahead, Pete.
I know that gentleman personally. When I was involved with the Bricks Playground
Yeah.
reconstruction over there, Mr. Cathcart come forward. You're all familiar with that fancy black fence on top of the stone wall and around? He donated all that. And that alone was an enormous amount of money. And I want to thank the rest of them that donated to make that park possible. But he come forward without even asking. I happened to talk to him on it, and he called me and said he wanted to do it. So it's another gift to the city that comes from a person it's real money to him. So I want to thank him very much. He's very generous, and he has been with the Recreation Department right along. And we lost him as a businessman in Attleboro. He now operates out of North Attleboro, but he's a great asset to the city of Attleboro, and thank you. My thanks.
Thank you for that, Peter. I know he has donated a lot of different times, and he's always been really good to the city. So, and the donation this time is really a nice one also. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Diana?
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes, and that is all the business, the city property and claims committee has this evening, and what I would like to do is call for an adjournment at 8:30.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 8:30.
Hi, I'd like to call ordinance election and legislative matters committee order at 8:30. I only have one motion this evening. From the docket of January 5th, 2021, I entertain a motion to adopt local option of 940 CMR 29.1, 2, 3, and 10. The purpose of 940 CMR is to interpret, enforce, and fluctuate the purposes of open meeting law. Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18 through 25.
Second.
Thank you. So this was brought in by new business from Mr. Conti, and then the mayor also brought down and said that he was agreeable to this. This basically just allows us to have virtual meetings and to conduct business how we have been. Any other comments or questions? Councilor Conti?
Yes, just a minor correction that this is came under the initiation of Councilor DeSimone. And Councilor DeSimone, I've expressed my gratitude to you in the past. I'll do it again because you deserve it. This is an important piece of legislation to make the Attleboro City Councilor more effective in the future, pandemic or regardless. And that concludes my comments.
Councilor DeSimone?
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Holmes. I just have a question procedurally. Did the mayor, and I'm referring to 29.10(2)(a), did the mayor, Councilor Holmes, authorize this? Did he give us something in writing indicating his authorization of this?
So he brought down, did you get the communication he brought down what he was agreeable to from the 15th of December of last year.
Oh, forgive me, I didn't, it's just something in writing saying that I authorize this or whatever?
Yes, it was
Okay,
communication that was brought down to the council.
okay. Thank you. I missed that. I forgot that. Thank you.
And I thought that Councilor Conti, that you introduced this new business on October 20th.
You know, I did, but it was a result of Councilor DeSimone's initiative.
Okay.
That was my point.
President Cooper?
And so there is some question outstanding on whether the council has to vote to move forward with this, or if just on the fact that the mayor says he would like to adopt it. I don't understand how we adopt an ordinance without the council's approval, and it has to go into the rules and procedure as well, which the rules around this adoption, right? So just adopting this doesn't say, oh, you can do this. No, this says you can create the rules around how you're going to operate in a remote environment in the future. Right now, today, we operate this way because the governor says we can, right? In the future, if we want to do this, if somebody's away or can't get there or break their leg, what are the reasons? The council needs to define the reasons in which we would allow a councilor to operate in a remote environment going forward outside of a public health emergency. So we have always traditionally approved MGLs because they become part of our ordinance book, right? So any MGL that we've adopted, the council has voted. We got a long list back to, I forget the year. I could look again, but it's long. And so we're just waiting for the city solicitor, and we'll have that to Councilor Holmes. I sent that request to her today. So as soon as we get that, we'll know one way or the other. But I won't support anything if we don't vote it. If it's only a formality, then it's only a formality. But I think we should all say publicly that we agree with this, whether or not we have to or not. We don't have to have a public hearing. That was clear. And so I'm happy moving it forward this week. I think it just keeps the ball rolling, and we'll see what the city solicitor has to say.
Thank you. That was a helpful explanation. So it sounds like we would be adopting the Mass General Law, but then creating our own guidelines in terms of the city and how we want this, what we want this to look like.
Right. Just to answer your question very directly, this is the final piece that Councilor Conti is waiting for in order to adopt the new rules that the special committee has been working toward. So I'm happy to see this moving forward. I'm sure Councilor Conti is happy to see it moving forward as well. I didn't want to hold it up tonight out of committee because I'm sure the solicitor can turn it around quickly on what, making sure that whether or not we have to do it this way. I wouldn't necessarily support it any other way since that's the way we've been doing it right along. But whether we have to or not, we can answer that question.
Councilor Delosio?
Thank you, Councilor Holmes. I think just adding to President Cooper's point, I think with the announcements that we saw today from the governor about the changes that are going to be upcoming, I think the timing is probably pretty apropos to get this going now, because we are operating under that state of emergency from March 10th of last year. And we don't know when that's going to end, but I think to have our ducks in a row to ensure that we have this in place by the time that state of emergency ends, which could be now, could be August, could be next year. But I think it just puts us in a better situation.
Thank you. I agree. Any other comments? President Cooper?
And if I might, since we're talking about it, a little off topic, but I plan to come back to or go back to City Hall the months of July and August, because I believe August 1st is when the state is allowed to open up. But we won't, and then we'll see what happens and then come back, likely the council to come back in the month of September. Those that want to, if the public health emergency is lifted.
Right. Any other, Councilor DeSimone?
Thank you, Councilor Holmes. Two things. Number one, I support this for obvious reasons, as Councilor Delosio said, and President Cooper, as we return to meeting in person, there may be other reasons why people need to be remote. I am going to support this, but I'm interested in the clarification from the solicitor. It may be a technical point, but I am interested in hearing her opinion before we vote as a whole body on it.
Sounds good. So what was the clarification that you were needing?
Oh, it's a small point. My understanding is that it's the chief executive officer of the city or town who authorizes the adoption of this. So in this instance, that would be the mayor. And I didn't know that there was any action for the council to take. But as President Cooper said, it may just be an acknowledgement of that adoption. So it's a technical point, but I'm just curious what the solicitor's opinion is going to be.
President Cooper?
I guess my question is, how does an ordinance become an ordinance through the mayor?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not an ordinance. We're adopting this possibility to happen, President Cooper. That's the way I understand it, that this can be provided for and that we establish the provisions in the rules. That's how I understand it.
So when we adopt Mass General Law 40A, for example, the zoning rules, why is that in the ordinance book?
Well, these are CMRs, so this is the code of the regulations. I don't know if that's why, but I'm going by
They're all MGLs, aren't they?
I'm sorry?
Isn't it an MGL 30A, the open meeting law?
Yes, this was promulgated under that. I don't mean to belabor the point, President Cooper.
I don't either. I just hate to spend city solicitor money if it's just to prove a point. That's all I'm suggesting. It's something we've been doing for 100 years in the city of Attleboro. And I just don't think spending city solicitor money to find out whether or not we have to, if it's just something nice to do, to make the public aware, if for nothing else, I think it's the right thing to do. That's
I agree.
my opinion. So I'm in full support of moving it forward and doing it how we've done it for 100 years, right, wrong, or indifferent. If it's wrong and we shouldn't do it that way, then that's a different question, right? If there's a way we should do it, or we're required to do it that we're not, and I would say
Yes.
then that's a problem.
In all due respect,
City
President-
solicitor would pick up on that.
She
All
will.
right. May I respond? May I just say, I feel that this is somewhat important because it does pertain to open meeting law, which, as we all know, is paramount. So I think it's important to get it right for that reason. But in all due respect, I certainly don't, not looking to waste taxpayers' money on a solicitor's opinion or any other matter. But I think it's important because it has to do with the open meeting law. We want to get it right.
Counselor Conti?
So I think what I'm going to do is call for a Rules and Procedures Committee meeting after this measure passes through your committee and during the interim when the city solicitor is going to make a comment and before it gets up to the full council so that we can hash this out in the Rules and Procedures Committee before it comes up to the full council. That may necessitate a emergency meeting of the Rules and Procedures Committee, because if you pass this tonight and it comes up in front of the council, full council on the 11th, we're probably going to have a meeting on Monday, the 10th. That's my thinking now. Is that how fast it's going to go together?
No, it would go before the full council on the 4th is my hope. May 4th.
May 4th. So we might need to have a meeting May 3rd.
Well, you could vote, you could do your thing you could do your meeting anytime to start to, I mean, it sounds like this is going to pass the council one way or another. Either the mayor says we do it and we do it, or the council votes it and we do it, right? I mean, it's going to pass, I think, one way or the other. So I think you generating your, having your rules meeting to start to consider what the rules would be around remote participation, since the adoption of this is pending, is probably reasonable. In the absence of that, you didn't sort of know what to do, right, Richard? I think is what you're getting at. You sort of were in limbo. Was this going to pass the council, or did this need to happen? And so now that I think you have a pretty good feel for the way this will go, I think it's appropriate to have a meeting and start to develop those rules so that, to your point, mid-May, you're ready to, beginning of May, you're ready to vote it out of your committee, and in the very next meeting, vote the rules.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. I will say as well, North Attleboro, when they had became a town council instead, they did have some remote, I know the president sometimes is out of town for business, and so they may actually have something written up, just a consideration to see what they have. But all in all, I mean, I think that the administration's agreeable to this, and if the council's agreeable to it, there's no harm in kind of us voting this. So I would encourage my committee to vote in favor of this, and I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I will call for an adjournment.
Oh, no. Can I just, excuse me, Council Holmes, before you adjourn, can I ask you a question? Please.
Go ahead.
Thanks. Can you tell me where we stand with the environmental ordinance, please? It's been a while.
All right. Did you get the email today, Councilor Jackson?
I got an email, yes.
So I said that if there's any amendments, I'd like to bring them to the city solicitor. So that way, when I bring them before the committee, there's not going to be an issue like there was a couple weeks ago for the committee. So if there's any amendments or any changes, I'd like the city solicitor to fully review those. And then we can then move forward with the committee meeting from there.
But we can still do amendments on the floor without the city solicitor as well.
Yep, there were some
Thanks.
amendments that I'll call for an adjournment.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 8:44.
You muted everybody?
I think
Well, wait a minute. I think I'd like to call the
Yeah.
Special Committee on Rules and Procedures to order, since I have this opportunity, at 8:44. And on this committee is Councilor Dolan and Councilor DeSimone. And I don't have anything to bring before you. However, I'd like to discuss with you when would be an opportune time for us to have a meeting. I'm going to suggest we need 48 hours, so we can't do it this Thursday because we won't have time. But would Monday night be a bad time for you, Councilor Dolan and Councilor DeSimone?
No, I can do Monday.
Monday?
Yep.
Would 7 o'clock be too late?
Fine
No.
with me.
Okay, so I'm going to call for a special committee on rules and procedures meeting to occur on Monday, May 3rd at 7:00 PM on Zoom. All are invited. And so I'll make a motion to adjourn. Can I call for a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I declare the Committee on Rules and Procedures to be adjourned at 8:45. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night,
President-
everyone.
President Cooper. You shut them all off? President Cooper, you still there?
No, they're off.
All right.
Shut it off real quick.
All righty.